We do have a public comment under pursuant to section 844122 of the Tennessee Code annotated. Tennessee is reserved for public comment under legislative items appearing on this agenda. Members of the public wishing to speak may sign up on the council committee sign-up sheet posted outside of the room where the committee is scheduled to meet. Public comment sign-up for the committee meetings will end immediately before meetings begin. Public comment is limited to 8 minutes total at the council committee meetings, and each speaker is allowed to speak up to 2 minutes. All public comment speakers must present proof of Tennessee residency. We have Steve Ryder. You have the mic.
Testing. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. I'm in opposition to this lease agreement. I'm a big believer in park preservation, and what we're talking about today before you is 3/10 of an acre park, which is just down the street from us. The land value alone is worth about $10 million. What you have is 2 lease agreements. One is for Metro leasing some space from this entity for a fire station, which doesn't make any sense to me because you could go out, there's plenty of vacant space downtown for the fire department. You don't need to do that. The other thing in transforming this park, there's nothing here for the Parks Department. There's no money that goes to them. And that to me is just wrong. In the 2010s, the Park Board adopted a policy called the Open Space Policies and said that there would be no net reduction in park space. And I want to repeat that, no net reduction in park space. That's exactly what this does, though. But the question becomes, why did the Park Board approve this if it's against their policy? Well, it's really simple. Because at the acquisition committee prior to the Park Board meeting, a person from the mayor's office and a senior Metro attorney, along with a junior attorney, spoke in favor of that. And so if your budget is dependent on the mayor's office, the message is pretty clear. You pass it. And that's what happened. But it wasn't unanimous. There was actually one courageous person of the Park Board who voted against it. But this is taking our park space away from the people of Nashville, Davidson County. We instituted this in 2010s to stop some of these things that are happening. There's been bad transactions that have taken place before. This was put forward by the Parks Department to address this so it never would happen again. And yet here we are in 2025 talking about giving a private developer a chance to go out there and transform a park for their particular benefit.
I'm sorry, time.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
All right, we're going to go over the consent agenda. I have RS 2025-1419, a resolution, goodness gracious, authorizing RLJ Art Nashville Lease LLC to construct and install aerial encroachments at 221 2nd Avenue North. Sponsors Coupin Horton, Evan Siegel. 1498, a resolution authorizing Zuzu Nashville LLC to construct, install, and maintain aerial encroachments at 215 1st Avenue South. Sponsors Coupin Horton and Evan Siegel. RS 2025-1501, a resolution approving a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by through the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewage Services and Artist Loft LP to provide sanitary sewer services improvements for Artist Loft's proposed development as well as other existing properties in the area. My apologies, I missed one. Number 3 is not on consent. RS 2025-1499, a resolution authorizing All Night LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 142 Rose Park L Boulevard. Sponsors Coupin Horton and Evan Siegel. I'm going to keep going. Number 4, RS 2025. Yeah, I was going to skip over it again. Okay. All right. RS 2025-1502, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept a new public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 6309 Nolensville Pike. Sponsors Cortez Horton and Evan Siegel. Bills on second reading. BL 2025-1008, an ordinance establishing a voluntary attainable housing incentive program for Metropolitan Nashville and Davidson County for the purpose of authorizing certain incentives to be provided to property owners who seek to build multifamily attainable housing. Sponsors Allen, Rutherford, Cupin, and others. BL 2025-1009, an ordinance approving a lease agreement by and between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Public Education and KIP Nashville, a Tennessee nonprofit corporation. Cap, Toombs, and Gamble and Allen are sponsors. BL 2025-1010, an ordinance authorizing and granting a temporary construction easement to Autumn Lake Apartments, LP, on a parcel or property owned by the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Sponsors Stiles, Toombs, and even Evan Siegel. BL 2025-1012, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to acquire permanent and temporary easements through negotiation, condemnation, and acceptance for the Hillwood and Wilsona WIR project for 2 properties located at 114 Hillwood Boulevard and Harding Pike. Sponsors Druffel, Gamble, and Evan Siegel. BL 2025-1013, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes and easements, and to accept new public fire hydrant assembly and sanitary sewer manholes for 3 properties located at 450, 640 James Robinson Parkway, and 300 Gay Street. Sponsors Coopin, Gamble, Evan Siegel. BL 2025-1014, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manhole and easements, and to accept a new public sanitary sewer manhole and easement for 4 properties located at 1726, 1728, 1730, and 1734 Jefferson Street. Sponsors Taylor, Gamble, and Evan Siegel. BL 2025-1015, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water mains and easements and to accept new public water and sanitary sewer force mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, odor control sanitation, and easements for property located at 1053 Tulip Grove Road, also known as Williamson Homestead. Sponsors Evan Gamble and Evan Siegel. BL 2025-1016, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water main, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements, and to accept public water main, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements for the property located at Brick Church Pike, unnumbered, off-site, the project location at 2405 Monticello Drive, also known as Monticello Off-Site. Sponsors Toom, Gamble, Evans, Siegel, and Horton. BL 2025-1017, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 1501 East Stewart Lane, also known as Wildflower Phase 2. Sponsors Kimbrough, Gamble, Evans, Siegel. BL 2025-1018, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes, fire hydrant assembly, and easements, and to accept new public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements for property located at 1107 8th Avenue South. Sponsors: Vogt, Gamble, Evans, Siegel. BL 2025-862, an ordinance to amend Title 7. BL 2025-796, an ordinance, bills on third reading. BL 2025-796, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from RS 20 to CSANS zoning for the property located at 107 East Campbell Road, approximately 635 feet west of Gallatin Pike. Sponsors: Gamble and Allen. BL 2025-862, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws and zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing R8 to SP zoning for property located at West Trinity Lane, approximately 655 feet west of McKinney Street, to permit 17 multifamily residential units, which all describe. Sponsors: Toombs. BL 2025-863, an ordinance to authorize building materials restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-862, a proposed specific plan zoning district for property located at West Trinity Lane, approximately 650 feet from West McKinley Street, to permit 17 multifamily residential units, which all describe. Sponsors: Toom. BL 2025-882, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Codes of Laws, zoning's ordinance of Metropolitan Government in Nashville, Davidson County by amending a specific plan on properties located at 1007 and 1009 Stoley Drive, approximately 150 feet west of Gallatin Pike, Zone RS 7.5 and SP, permitted to permit 55 residential multifamily residential units, all which described herein. Sponsors: Benedict. BL 2025-883, an ordinance to authorize building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-882, a proposed specific plan district for properties located at 1007 and 1009 Soley Drive, approximately 150 feet west of Gallatin Pike, zone for RS 7.5 and SP, to permit 55 multifamily residential units, all which are described herein. Sponsors: Benedict. BL 2025-946, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from OR 20 to IWD zoning for a portion of the property located at 41 Rachel Drive, approximately 600 feet southeast of Royal Parkway. Sponsors: Gregg and Gamble. BL 2025-976, an ordinance to amend Title 17 for the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing R6 to RM20 ANS, zoning for the property located at 310 Polk Avenue at the southwest corner of Polk Avenue and Whitney Avenue. Sponsors: Welch. BL 2025-977, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of Metropolitan Codes of Laws, the zoning ordinance of Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from CS to MUG-ANS, zoning for properties located at 359, 361, 363, 367, 371, 373, and 375 Murfreesboro Pike at the southern corner of Murfreesboro Pike and Elm Hill Pike. Sponsors: Vogt. BL 2025-978, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing RS5 to SP zoning for the property located at 1600 Meridian Street, approximately 73 feet northwest of Marshall Street to permit 27 multifamily residential units. Sponsors Parker. BL 2025-979, an ordinance to authorize building materials restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-978, a proposed specific plan zoning district for the property located at 1600 Meridian Street, approximately 73 feet northwest of Marshall Street, to permit 27 multifamily residential units. Sponsors Parker. BL 2025-980, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing RS 15 to R15, zoning for the property located at 335 Lawdale Drive, approximately 369 feet east of East Thompson Lane. Sponsors Welsh. BL 2025-981, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing CS to ORI, CS and ORI to MUGA NS zoning for properties located at 93 Nance Lane and 939 Murfreesboro Pike at the north and south corner of Stanley Street and Nance Lane. Sponsor a vote. BL 2025-982, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws and the zoning ordinance for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing AR2A to SP zoning for properties located at 13905 Old Hickory Boulevard and Old Hickory Boulevard unnumbered, approximately 1,440 feet west of Whitmore Lane to permit 237 residential units. Sponsors Rutherford. BL 2025-983, an ordinance to authorize building materials and restriction requirement for BL 2025-982. Sponsor Rutherford. BL 2025-984, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Government of Laws, zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing OL to OR20, A zoning for properties located at 183 and 189 Thompson Lane, approximately 111 feet west of St. Edwards Drive. Sponsors Welsh. BL 2025-985, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from AR2A to SP zoning for the property located at Old Hickory Boulevard unnumbered, approximately 1,764 feet east of Whitmore Lane, to permit 67 single-family residential lots and 67 multifamily residential units. Sponsor Lee. BL 2025-986, an ordinance to authorize building material and requirements for BL 2025-985. BL 2025-988, BL 2025-989, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing RS 7.5 to R6A zoning for parcel located at 194 Hilton Street, approximately 179 feet north of McCall Street. Sponsor Welsh. BL 2025-990, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from specific plan SP to specific plan SP zoning for property located at 800 North 5th Street at the northwest corner of Arrington Street and North 5th Street. Sponsors Parker. BL 20225-991, an ordinance to authorize building materials restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-990. BL 2025-992, an ordinance to amend Title 17 for the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing RS5 to MUL-ANS zoning for property located at 115 West Trinity Lane. Sponsors Toombs. BL 2025-993, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by amending specific plan for properties located at 1701, 1703, 1705, 1707, 1709, 1711, 9th Avenue North, and 109 Buchanan Street. 901 Buchanan Street, at the southern corner of 9th Avenue North and Buchanan Street. Zone SP and partial within detached accessory dwelling unit overlay district to permit a mixed-use development, all which described. Sponsors Taylor. BL 2025-994, an ordinance to authorize building materials restrictions requirements for BL 2025-993, excuse me. All right, can I have a motion to approve? Okay, my apologies. Anyone want to pull off anything on consent? Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can I pull RS 2025-1008? I don't know what item number it is, and BL 2025-987. Okay, I wrote it down before we got to it, so. Okay, so just RO 2025-1008.
I got number 6. All right, gotcha. Are there any others? Is there any discussion? Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, we have 9 in favor. We have 0 in opposition and 0 no votes. All right, first off for consent, BL 2025-1008.
Move approval?
Councilmember Allen.
Thanks. Actually, I need to move to defer this to the first meeting in November with a brief explanation.
Go ahead.
So this is a bill based on a state bill that allows us to tie some affordability to a voluntary program that the planning department has worked really hard to put together. Right now, it is connected to the RL zoning, which doesn't exist yet, and this gives that time to catch up. And so I would like to ask to be able to talk about it on the floor briefly tomorrow night, but to defer second reading until the first meeting in November.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All right, defer to the first meeting. I'm sorry. All in favor? Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, we have 9 in favor, 0 in opposition, and 0 no votes. $14.95. Yes, yes. BL 2025-1011. An ordinance approving two lease agreements between Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and PNH Properties LLC for the use of space located at 120 3rd Avenue North and 211 Commerce Street. Councilmember Cooper,
Move approval.
do I have a second?
Thank you, Chair. So this is a lease agreement for a park space downtown. Y'all heard some comment. I appreciate the public being engaged. This has moved through the Parks Board for some time as well, with comment and engagement and discussion there. And as you heard, it's been approved. I agree that it's important for us to maintain park space. I'd call this more of a patio than a park. It is pavers and paved over, and honestly, and others that walk by it, it doesn't look like a park space. It looks like something that would be a plaza on an office building. So I'm excited that this is going to be activated. We're not giving away the space. It's a 30-year lease. We still own it. And we're going to get a fire substation. We know we've got a police substation downtown that is widely used and very, very appreciated. So we need a fire station as well. And I would like to see if I could ask someone from Parks just to come up and give a little more context to it, if that's okay, Chair.
Please state your name.
Kevin Roten, Metro Parks. Thank you, Councilmember Coop, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for having me. Common Center Park, it's 0.3 acres. It's behind the old, I call it the Baker Donaldson building. If you all remember, it used to be brick. It got turned into a cream-colored office building. It's now called 211 Commerce. There is a patio, more of a courtyard behind the property, which is what they call Commerce Center Park. This was given to MDHA back in 1998, and for some reason, we got the easement over the top of the courtyard. We don't own above, we don't own below, we just have an easement across the top of the property. We don't know how we actually got it. And but we do know we've been cleaning it for 25 years, but there's been nothing going on this, and we don't lease it out or don't permit it for anything. So it looks like it's attached to the building, which it is. And so what it would do is there's going to be a gift shop built on it and then an elevator to the back of the building. We will still have 5,500 square feet of park space back there over the plaza. P&H is the ones who are going to actually be in charge of all the utilities, all the repairs, keeping it up, maintenance, cleaning it. So this is taking it out of Parks oversight as far as on a daily basis, which we've never done nothing with this for 25 years. So to us, it looked like something good for the city as a whole, because in return, below that in the parking garage, we will be getting a fire substation, which we were told is needed very much in the downtown area. So we don't feel like we're losing anything because we still have an open plaza, which the public will have access to. The space will be activated, and we will get a fire station in return. So that's all I have from Parks, and if someone from Metro Fire would like to add on.
Thank you.
And Chair, if I may, I understand that there may be a friendly amendment on the bill.
Is there any discussion on the amendment? Council Lady Evans.
Thank you for recognizing me, even though I'm not on the committee. I really appreciate, worked with the lessee and Metro Legal on this amendment to clear up a few things. One, just some like random legalese, but also to make sure that it's a 50-year lease, which is a really long time. The lease requires $2 million of insurance today. $2 million in 40 years is not going to be the same thing. So it adds some language so that we can update that over time. So we make sure that the building is not, and the park area is not underinsured. It also added a requirement that unless closed for a private event, which is outlined when we can have private events, when the lessee can have private events in there. Otherwise, it will be open to the public. I actually worked in this building for many years and didn't realize until this lease came through that this was actually a park. So I'm glad we can make sure that it stays open, but would appreciate the committee's support.
Council Lady Allen.
Actually, not on the amendment. After we vote on the amendment, I would like to be recognized, please.
Is there any other discussion on the amendment? All right, all in favor? Any opposition? Any abstentions? All right, I have nine in favor, no opposition, no abstentions. All right, do I have a second? All right, discussion on the bill as amendment. Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's kind of buried, but there is a requirement in Division 2 of our code that requires appraisals on all public land that's used, and I wasn't able to locate an appraisal in the documents that we had before us. Was there an appraisal done, and can we get at that? I see heads nodding yes. Can someone say what those values were? I'll keep talking then. So there's another section in Division 2 that says anything over $1 million that we have a land lease on for over 5 years requires a public community meeting held by the council member. And I mean, we haven't done something like this in a while, so it may have sort of fallen into the background. So I'm just asking if there was a community meeting or could there be one? I mean, I think there's an opportunity to refine information that may be helpful. And it may not meet the threshold, but if it does, then I would like to ask that we follow our regulations.
Macy Amos, Metro Legal. The appraisal was included in the document that you all received. There was an updated one that was filed with the amendment. Metro's net position is shown on page 48, but it does not meet that $1 million threshold. So the public meeting component was not required.
And is a net position the same as an appraisal?
Yeah, there's an entire appraisal packet that was included in the amendment that we filed.
Okay. I mean, I'm just not legal enough to know if that's what I was looking at. But so we're taking the difference between what our property is worth and what theirs is and saying that's less than $1 million and therefore we don't meet the threshold.
Correct.
Okay. That seems a little clever. Do we have
So
any?
the appraised value of the property does not meet the $1 million threshold that would require a public hearing.
In and of itself?
In and of itself.
Not even a net
Correct.
calculation? Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. All right, thank you.
Any other discussion?
Thank you, Chair, and I appreciate my colleagues' questioning on that. And for me, whether or not it fell above or below or what calculation we're using for things like this, if I tend to do community meetings regardless, and have found most folks are amenable to that. This is something that, you heard Councilwoman Evan Siegel speak about the fact that she worked there and didn't know it was a park. I didn't know it was a park. So, and talking to constituents, everyone's really excited about this. So to me, this wouldn't, even if we had a community meeting, I already kind of know from talking to folks what we'd get, which is, positive support for this. So absent the threshold that we're at, if I felt this was something that, was going to have great community interest and conversation, I would still likely hold a meeting, but I feel like this is something that unilaterally people are going to be, for the most part, very excited about.
Thank you for your comment. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Councilor Shore.
Thank you. And my apologies if I missed the conversation on the threshold. I was out and stepped in. But when I look at the document that was attached by Colliers, the value of our lease, the net present value of the 50 years is $1,170,000. So how is that less than the threshold?
Go ahead.
I believe that that's the value of the build out. And there was an updated appraisal that was filed with the council office on Friday that's slightly different than the appraisal that was originally filed with council. But that figure that you just mentioned, council member, I do believe that's the value of the build out that would include the improvements that the developer is making on the property.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Chair.
Will you repeat your questions?
Yes, I was trying to, and again, I've not looked at the new appraisal, but I know that I saw $1 million somewhere in there. So we're saying that the appraisal right now, with that value, it's less than the 1 million.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other discussions? All right, all in favor? Any opposition? Any abstentions? I have 9 in favor, 0 abstentions, 0 opposition. Bill 2025-908, an ordinance amending chapters 1708 and 1716 of the Metropolitan Code, zoning regulations to amend and add regulations pertaining to the beer and cigarette market. Sponsors Benedict and Gad. Move for approval. All right, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Council Lady Benedict would like to be recognized.
Like to move this, sorry, could you refresh me? Are we on beer and cigarette market bill?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Like to move the bill. Like to move the substitute.
Okay.
The substitute gets rid of the residential 100-foot boundary buffer from the beer and cigarette markets. The beer and cigarette market bill we passed earlier this year, and it's specifically for like vape shops. What this bill does, it requires a quarter-mile distance in between, or 1,320-foot distance in between each establishment. And so this passed at the Planning Commission. We passed this last meeting. What the substitute does is, again, it removes that residential buffer, because that 100-foot buffer would have basically touched every single parcel. It would have made it almost impossible. The other thing that this substitute does is it removes the DTC from the original bill, which is what was supported by planning at the Planning Commission. Having said that, there is a friendly amendment from the downtown council member, which I am supportive of, and that I hope he'll move next.
Councilmember Cooper.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move the amendment with a discussion or brief comment, rather.
My apologies.
So,
We're moving too fast. All in favor? All in favor of the substitute? Aye. All right, 9. Are there any opposed? Are there any opposition? All right, I have 9 in favor. I have 0 in opposition and 0 abstentions. Councilmember Coopin.
yes, would like to move the amendment, please, with a brief comment. Thank you, Chair. So, as you heard, the substituted bill removes the DTC, and I worked with the Planning Commission and appreciate their work carving out in their recommendations an opportunity for me to work with the department to put the DTC back in. As you heard our colleagues say, you don't want the distance to be so far that is completely prohibitive to the business model. And so understandably, the amount of feet currently in the bill would be too much for downtown because a couple of those, and then you cover the whole thing. And so this amendment kind of mimics what the bill is doing, but on a smaller scale. So it would be a 500-foot distance requirement between these entities. And this is something that my constituents are really, really appreciative of. There is a section of downtown right now that I think has 6 or 7 of these shops that have popped up in one little area. So that's something that's been brought to me by MNPD and by others as a problem. And so really appreciate my colleague bringing this bill and hope y'all will support the amendment as well. Thanks.
All right. All in favor? Prior to vote, let's act. Is there any other discussion? All right, all in favor? Any opposition? Any abstentions? All right, I have 9 in favor, 0 opposing, and 0 abstentions. All right. All right. All right, do I have a second? All right, bill moved and approved. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Any in opposition? Any abstentions? All right, I have 9 in favor. I have 9 in opposition. I have 0 in opposition and 0 abstentions. All right, BL 2025-949, an ordinance amending the Metropolitan Code of Laws, Section 17406000, to provide that notices of violations are not required for subsequent violations of the same offense under Title 17. Sponsor Eastlick Hill and Gamble and others.
Thank you.
Council Lady Gamble.
Thank you, Chair. I am a sponsor of the bill, and the lead sponsor is not here, so I will move the bill.
All right. Moved and seconded.
I do have an amendment.
Okay.
I'd like to move my amendment.
Go ahead and move your amendment.
Thank you, Chair. I move the amendment with a brief explanation. So this amendment it came out of the discussion from the Planning Commission. When the Planning Commission discussed this bill, the issue came up of notices or an unintended harm that can come to residents, particularly long-term residents, as a result of this notice change. And so I worked with Metro Codes, who also worked with the lead sponsor, to come up with an amendment to address those concerns. And what this amendment does is basically add 2 things. It adds that this notice requirement would be in effect except if, or would be in effect as such notice required is 45 days in advance of the zoning administrator's determination under this section. And secondly, provided that there is not an ongoing effort to get a Board of Zoning Appeals or variance for the violation that is being cited for. So it just adds 2 conditions for which the zoning administrator would use their discretion in moving forward with this ordinance. And these are discretions that the code ordinance or the code administrator would use anyway, but we want to make sure that it's in writing so that everybody is aware of the exceptions or discretion that they will be using. So ask for approval. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Any abstentions? I have 9 in favor. I have 0 opposition, 0 in opposed, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move the bill as amended.
All right. Any discussion on the bill as amended? All in favor? Any opposition? Any abstentions? I have 9 in favor, 0 opposing, and 0 abstentions. BL 2025-987, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing AR2A to SP zoning for properties located at 6355 Nolensville Pike and Noseville Pike unnumbered, approximately 90 feet west of Sugar Valley Drive, to permit 273 multifamily residential units. Sponsors Cortez and Gamble.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move the bill.
All right. Any discussion? All right. Okay. Councilman Rowell.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask a question while we're there. You know, as we often do, we had some people stand up and raise issues about traffic. And I don't know my geography well enough to know if this is on the part of Nolensville Road that's been widened just in terms of traffic flow.
Cortez.
Yes,
Councilman Cortez.
it is, yes.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to move the amendment.
All right. Any discussion, goodness gracious. Would you like to explain the amendment or discuss the amendment?
Yeah, absolutely. So this amendment, Councilman Rutherford and I worked with a resident, actually on Sugar Valley Drive. They spoke at the public hearing and they were concerned about traffic. So the developer agreed to put some traffic calming measures in. And that's what this amendment is going to have the developer agree to.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor? Any opposition? Any abstentions? All right, we have 9 in favor, 0 in opposition, and 0 abstentions. The bill is amended. Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Any abstentions? I have 9 in favor. I have 0 opposing and 0 abstentions. BL 2025-988, an ordinance to authorize the building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2025-987, a proposed specific plan zoning district for properties located at 6355 Noseville Pike and Noseville Pike unnumbered, approximately 90 feet west of Sugar Valley Drive, to permit 273 multifamily residential units. Sponsors Cortez and Gamble.
I'd like to move the bill.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposition, any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, I have 9 in favor, 0 opposing, and 0 abstentions. All right, so we're gonna move forward with the election portion. For the Metro Action Commission, we will select one member of the committee to serve on that commission for a 2-year term. Are there any nominations? Any nominations for the Metro Action Commission? Council Lady Allen.
I nominate Councilmember Vo.
Are there any other nominations? That's fine. All right, without objection, the committee has selected Terry Vo, Council Lady Terry Vo, to serve as a council representation member on the Metro Action Commission. Are there any departmental updates? All right, I see someone with their hand up. No, okay, okay. That concludes our meeting.